the Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation. We created the Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation so you can magnetize the better relationships you want and focus on the positive role that you have in creating a better life through your relationships. We are excited for you to discover the gold within you that can help you manifest the love we all crave. The Building Better Relationships Journal has coaching questions that help you listen to the truth of what you want and what helps you to be empowered in love. The Building Better Relationships meditation is designed to strengthen your heart's ability to be that change you wish to see in the world. Why not download it now and think of it as a gift to those you love? If you love journaling and meditation, this is for you. Welcome to Building Better Relationships at Home and at Work with Angela and Patti podcast. This is Patti, a leadership and work-life balance coach from Arizona, USA.
And this is Angela, love and relationship coach from Sydney, Australia. And we are building better relationships with you.
Sharing new perspectives on being heart-centered at home and at work.
So you can draw on your inner power to make your relationships and the world a better place to be around.
Welcome to Building Better Relationships at Home and at Work with Angela and Patti.
On this podcast, we have a special guest, Noleen Sliney, a video confidence and personal power mentor. She helps entrepreneurs who are leaders, change makers, and visionaries who desire to achieve things that are even bigger than them to use the power of video to become and create their legacy. She does this by helping them skyrocket their video confidence, supercharge their selling confidence, become a magnet to their soul-aligned clients, and make a greater impact and income with ease and flow.
Noleen also helps clients overcome perfectionism and get their transformational offers out into the world and into the hands of their soul-aligned clients, and master the art of taking aligned action. She is the founder of the Video Confidence and Selling Society and Imperfectly Done to Perfectly Sold. And Noleen is known as the Visibility Queen. She originally came from Ireland, and Noleen has lived in 5 countries so far, including Germany, Poland, and Austria. She speaks English and German and is currently learning Italian. She's a lover of nature, animals, has a bit of a tea addiction, and loves supporting her home Providence rugby team. Welcome, Noleen. I have to ask you about your amazing bio. What are your favorite teas?
That's a great question, Patti. Oh my God, I have so many of them. Like when I say the tea addiction, I really do. Like I think there's always at least, oh God knows how many, 5 or 6 different types of teas in the press at any time. But probably my favorite one would be Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey tea. I love peppermint tea. I love chamomile tea. I'm trying to think. Anything that has ginger in it, I'm buying it. I don't care what else it is. Like I see ginger, I'm buying that, so kind of lemon and ginger and things like that. So they'd probably be some of my favorites. But yeah, so one of my favorite things is just going into a tea shop and going, oh, what's in that one? And oh, I'll try that one. So yeah. I told you I had an addiction.
Yeah. Angela, what are you drinking for your tea this morning?
Actually, it's just some water with lemon and honey. Very basic. I love to indulge in something simple every now and then, just not to have something overpowering. And how about you, Patti?
I am drinking a combination of wellness tea and just regular black tea. I like to mix those together because it makes it taste so much better. And then I put a little bit of honey and lemon in it.
Nice. That's really interesting, Patty. I never thought of actually mixing the black tea with something else as well, actually. You've given me an idea there now. I'm going to use that. Thank you.
You're welcome. When I was young, my grandfather, his family was from Scotland, and we would have tea and we would have it with cream and sugar.
You have tea
And
with cream.
I still love it.
Oh, wow. I've
Yeah.
heard of coffee with cream, and I've seen people do that a lot. We would have seen that in Ireland as well, but I never heard tea with cream. Gosh, that's a really interesting one.
Yeah, I thought it was from Scotland. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's from Canada. Because he was Canadian, so.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, I'm already learning so much here today already.
So, Noleen, can you please tell us and the listeners about you, your journey, and why you became so passionate about your business as a video confidence and a personal power mentor?
Yeah, sure. So you've kind of mentioned a little bit about my journey there, but I'll go back even further. So actually my background originally was in corporate finance. So I worked in corporate finance. It was like investment banking for over a decade. So very different to what I do now, obviously. Actually, one of the places I worked was in your hometown, Sydney, Angela. So I worked in corporate finance there as well. But I always knew that wasn't my passion. It always very much was a job. I mean, I studied finance in college. So it was kind of like, yeah, okay, that's what I'll do now, the usual kind of story. But I always knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. I definitely wasn't passionate about it. And I always knew that I wanted to do something that really felt fulfilling for me, that really like lit me up, like that I couldn't wait to get out of bed in the morning to do, and something that also made an impact in people's lives, right? So when I left my corporate job, actually, I ended up becoming a makeup artist. And that was kind of basically what I started when I first started my business. That's what I did for a while, which I did actually really enjoy. And especially because I was doing more of the organic side of makeup and cruelty free. Like, so, these are things that are very passionate to me. Like, animal welfare is something that I'm hugely passionate about. And, obviously things like sustainability, but also as well, one of the things that I was doing was, I was already, like, even though I was a makeup artist, I was still also doing a lot around confidence and empowerment. And then for me, a lot of my clients were entrepreneurs anyway, and I was helping them a lot with, obviously the confidence side of things, but also then like the entrepreneurial side of things too. And I realized that what I really wanted to do was like help those businesses get out there, like people who are, purpose-driven businesses and, ethical businesses, and really help them to get out there and be seen and heard. And, the video side of it happened really because I was my own client, right? Like the perfectionism side, also my own client. Fears of selling, I'm also my own client, right? Because they're all things I've been through myself, right? So, this is why I say, like, because I have been my own client, I really understand what people are going through, right? I totally understand the fears of being on video and being visible at all, right? I had so many visibility fears myself. Likewise with perfectionism, I know how much that held me back for so long. And, this is what I do now is helping people to get out there, be seen, be heard, and also to overcome that perfectionism so that they take that quick inspired action and get their incredible offerings out there. And one of the things that I'm massively passionate about this, and I have what I call my mission million, and my mission million is to help those entrepreneurs who are like people like yourselves, who are change makers and visionaries and leaders, and you have this big purpose as well, right? Like yours is, it's not just about, okay, I have this business and I want to get out there. Like you have and you want to make an impact, right? And you want to create a legacy. And that's what I want to do as well with my business. And my legacy is going to be helping, 1 million of my entrepreneurs get out there. So they also get in front of 1 million entrepreneurs so that they can also create their legacy. So it's really about this big impact in the world, and this it's again legacy, and really making this positive change. And even as I'm saying it now, like it lights me up thinking about it, because again, there's too many businesses out there in the world. We all know about the old paradigms now; they are kind of falling a bit. But that's why for me, this is such a big passion of mine, to get people like ourselves out there who are the ones who are the new leaders of the world. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Noleen, in your business journey, you started as a makeup artist. How did it help you transition into a video confidence and personal power mentor.
So yeah, again, I'll go back to my, like, I did a lot of work like with, entrepreneurs. I was doing a lot of branding, photography, things like that. So I was behind the camera a lot, which was great, but was not used to being in front of it. And as a business owner, right, you're going to have to do that at some stage, right? So again, it kind of started with, okay, I knew I had to work on this myself because, like there was a stage where I was so scared to be visible. Like I wouldn't even put pictures of myself online. Right. I would like always put the pictures of my clients out. Right. Because in my head, I was like, well, that's me being visible. Right. Of course it wasn't. Right. Because people needed to see me. Right. They needed to know who I was. And so I really had to work through all of that. And I went on this journey, obviously, of, building that confidence myself on video. And again, this was what I wanted to help people to do then as well. And I would say that everything that I learned behind the camera, as well as being in front of it, is what really helped me to make the transition, because as I said, again, I was already coaching people, like, sure, I was doing their makeup for the video, but I was also helping them with the confidence, like, so that they went, in front of the camera, they would feel absolutely amazing. And, that was coming from what I was saying to them and, what I was doing for them, so I've always kind of had that coaching element in what I did, and that, empowerment element. And again, it wasn't just on video, it wasn't just doing it for the camera, it was also doing it in general. And again, I was also, what I noticed was I was helping people with like the business side of things sometimes, helping them like, oh, like, this would be a better way to price this, or, I have this idea for you or something. So it kind of almost became this natural progression. And then obviously, of course, when COVID hit and everybody was online, that was when this really took off for me. And I was really like, oh my God, there's like a really big need for this here. And, and I could see that people really needed help with that. Oh my God, how do I feel confident on camera? And also, how do I stand out? Because I also have clients who are already on camera, they're already on video, but it's also, again, there's like, I don't know how many, 1 billion people or something on camera now. So again, it's helping them to bring out that real version of them, they don't hide and they don't fear, oh my God, if I say this, like, what will people think of me, so as I said, it was a progression of all of those things. And I guess it's like anything, like even my corporate job, like I still have things from that I bring into what I do now. So nothing we ever do is ever a waste. And I think with everything we do, it's just that, evolution. Do you know what I mean? And we bring all of these, it all goes into the pot, if you like, that we can help our clients with.
And how has incorporating videos into your business helped you connect better with your clients?
Oh, I mean, like, it's no exaggeration to say, like, it has literally revolutionized my business. As I said, like, I was so scared to be visible at one stage. I wouldn't even put a photo of myself out. And then when I started with videos, I was like, oh my God, like I still remember my very first Facebook Live. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And it took me like, I don't know, about 2 hours to get pumped up for like a 1-minute intro video that I was doing, So when I think back to then and to where I am now, and like, as I said, now it has like video's the number one way now that I get clients. Like, it really is. It's the number one way I make sales. And that is not from like doing a load of webinars and all those kind of things. Like, I'm talking about literally like sometimes 1-2 minute videos, maybe a personalized video I send to somebody, or a video that I do online. And like, I regularly get messages from people, telling me they've seen my videos, and they tell me how much they've helped them. And actually as well, and this is something for people who worry about, oh my God, I'm not getting comments and likes on things. Most of my clients who tell me that, who've seen my videos, they're not the ones actually commenting on liking on my videos, but they are seeing them, right? So this really shows you the power as well of like, someone's always watching, and it's not about the comments and likes. They're nice to have, but they are not, always who your clients are going to be. So yeah, it's really, really helped me to connect with my audience. Do you know what I mean? To connect with people. And something that I used to really struggle with as well was that I would be writing posts and I would think, oh my God, my writing's not really good. Or I'd always think, oh, I'm not really able to say what I really want to say when I'm writing. And, I still write posts, of course, and I've definitely improved on that. But even if you're the best writer in the world, like, it is still so different when people see you and hear you on video, because it's just a conversation, right? And they'll really pick up on your energy a lot more. And that's what I have found. It's because when I am on video, I do actually feel I can be more myself, you know, because I'm just talking, right? I'm just having a conversation with somebody, even if I can't see them. Like, obviously we're here and I can see you, but even if I'm not, I still feel like, oh my God, like I'm having this conversation and I have this thing to share and I can't wait to tell you, you know, and people pick up on that. And that's definitely what's happened for me. So yeah, it's been an absolute game changer.
What are some strategies to boost confidence while doing videos in your business or in our business or anybody's business?
Oh, well, there's definitely a lot. And I know you've heard a lot of them, Patti, seeing as you're in the Video Confidence and Selling Society.
Yes.
But I think it's always good to rehear them, right? So I would say the number one that I always tell everybody, and I've said this about a billion times and I don't care, I'm going to say it again, but it really is, it's like reconnecting with your mission, right? It's going back to that, because that is everything, right? The reason you started your business, the reason you do what you do, like the reason you get out of bed in the morning, right? When you reconnect to that, everything else feels easy after that, right? Going on video, sending that, you know, pitch to a big podcast, or, you know, sending that client email, because all of a sudden it's about the bigger picture, right? And it's about, I really want to help this person or these people, you know, or I know I can make a difference in the world. And when you tap into that, you're less focused on the fears, and it's more about, it's all of a sudden it's excitement instead of fear, right? Like, for example, like I go back to what I was talking about, my mission there at the beginning. Like, as I was saying it, like even I could feel the in my tummy, like, oh God, I got so much excitement as I was thinking about this, right? And saying it. So this is why for me, this is such a huge confidence booster. And again, it's one I use myself all the time, because look, you know, like I'm at a certain level, like I'm at a higher level now with my video confidence, but you know, every level I go to, new stuff comes up, right? You know, there's always, we can achieve mastery, and then there's another level of mastery and another level of mastery. And every single time I'm at that new level, I still go and I get the fears. I'm like, okay. And I go back to what's my big why, and everything shifts then. And all of a sudden I'm in this completely different mindset. Right. And as I said, that really will give you the confidence. Like you can literally, if I was to sit here and ask both of you, what's your mission, right? I would literally see it physically in you, that you're all of a sudden, you're like, oh, your face lights up and your shoulders go back, and there's the confidence there, right? So that's why I say that's probably my number one thing that I would say to anybody if you have any fears of being on video at all. And another one I would say as well is, I would keep a compliments folder for yourself, right? This is really, really good, especially at the beginning. You might not need it as much after a while, although it's still a lovely thing to have. And what I mean by that is, like, literally, like, screenshot any nice comments you get. So let's say you put out one of your videos, right? And somebody says, oh my God, I really love that. Or, oh, that was very helpful, thank you. Like, literally screenshot all those little comments, right? Or testimonials you get, and keep them somewhere where you can see them. So you could, you know, put them in a Google Doc, or you could even print them out if you wanted to, or keep them on a Trello board, whatever it is. And what's really great about that is that when you see those things, you realize, gosh, I actually am really making an impact in the world. Like, I'm really making a difference in people's lives. And that can be such a good confidence booster, especially like on those days, let's say, where you don't get comments and likes, but you can see you got them from before, right? And you can see, well, actually, I am making a difference because this person said I was, right? You know, so again, it's not about relying on comments and likes, because again, I mean, that's a whole other topic we could talk about separately. But you know, as I said, it is though really nice to say, God, look, I do actually have proof that I'm making this difference, you know? And as I said, that really does help you to continue to show up, and it helps you to boost your confidence as well. So they'd be kind of two things. And I say there's a ton of things we could say, but yeah, they would be two kind of top things, I would say.
Noleen, one of the things you discuss in the Video Confidence and Selling Society group that I belong to is, if you are not telling your clients and followers about your products and services, you are not serving them. Could you please explain why you say this?
Oh, yes, sure. As you know, that's one of my favorite things to talk about, Patti. Well, again, I'm just going to say first and foremost, I mean, selling is something, again, I massively struggled with. I had so many blocks around it. I remember actually, I found a journal recently where I had written down a few years ago, I hate selling and I'm really bad at selling. And of course I wasn't doing, you know, I wasn't selling very much then, because obviously that mindset was the really wrong mindset. But when I changed it, everything changed, right? So I guess a really good way to explain it is this, right? So let's say you have a friend, okay, and your friend comes to you and goes, oh my God, Angela or Patti, I have this problem, right? And you're like, okay, right, let's sit down, let's have a talk about it, okay? And they tell you the problem and you have a solution. You're like, oh wait, I know, it's okay, I know what we can do, right? So you tell them, right, this is what we can do, okay? Well, that's what selling is, right? It's saying to somebody who has a problem, hey, I actually can help you with this. Would you like me to tell you about it? And they're probably going to go, yes, please tell me, right? Because I need help with this thing, right? And again, I'm using problem, but this could be desire or, anything else like that, of course, as well, right? Like if you have a desire and someone can help you achieve, you're going to go, yeah, hell yeah, tell me, right? So that's really what selling is. And when we come from selling with that mindset, it's so different, right? Because selling is just sharing. It's just sharing that you have a solution to this problem, or as I said, you can help somebody fulfill a desire, or make a transformation, right? And I go back to the analogy I used there again about the friend, right? So you could sit there and say, oh my God, yeah, of course, hold on, I'll tell you, we can solve this together, right? This is how we do it. Or are you going to sit there and say, well, okay, you're in your head and you're going, I do have this solution, but I can't tell them about it yet because my sales page is not ready, or the tech isn't ready and I don't have the landing page. Like, you're not going to do that, right? But this is what we do sometimes when it comes to selling, right? Because we haven't got into the mindset of thinking, well, actually, all I'm doing is sharing, right? And a mentor of mine once said to me, she said, selling is the highest form of love you can have for your clients, right? So this is why I talk about this so much, right? And as I said, for me, when I got into that mindset, everything changed. And, instead of coming from the, oh my God, am I being salesy or spammy? Well, of course I wasn't, because my intention is good, right? My intention is to help somebody. And even if somebody does think you are, that's not about you, because your intention is good, right? Your intention is, well, I can help you with this, right? And if the other person says that about you, well, then that's probably a lot of their own blocks around this kind of thing, right? So that's why I recommend come from the intention of all I'm doing is sharing. As I said, go back to think about if you were literally having a conversation with someone and they had this problem, you would help them. And the other thing as well is that if you're not showing up and sharing your paid offerings with people, well, there'll be one of two things happen, right? It'll be number one, well, the person will stay struggling, right? Or they won't be able to, get the help or fill the desire that they have, right? So they will just stay stuck, which obviously, if you want to help people, that's not what you want, right? Or the other thing is that might happen, is they'll find somebody else. They'll go to somebody else who is showing up and sharing their offerings, right? So again, and that's something, again, I used to see people going, how come they're making sales? And oh my God, but my thing is so much better than theirs. And then I was like, yeah, but Noleen, like, you're not actually telling people, you're not actually sharing your offerings. How can this person know, right, if you don't tell them? So that was such a big aha moment for me. And as I said, once I did that, like, everything shifted. And that's the importance of selling.
Lovely. And Noleen, can you share how we relate, the way that we relate with others through a visual screen? How can that affect the way we feel about each other?
Oh, yeah, it's a great question. And again, I'm going to use another analogy that I often use, right? So you think about your favorite author, right? So let's say you have a favorite author whose books you absolutely love, right? And you could read those books all day. They are amazing. You might have read them, like, I know I'm like that. I've read some people's books like 20 times over. I love them that much. And here's the thing, right? You see that person all of a sudden, let's say they're being interviewed on TV, or, you see them on a video or something like that, and everything changes. Right? It's almost like those words they've written are amplified like 1,000-fold, right? And all of a sudden, every time you read that book again, it has such a different meaning because you actually visualize that person, right? You can picture them, you hear, their voices in your head, right? And again, as I said, even if somebody is the best writer in the world, the best copywriters or the best journalists or the best authors, right? There's nothing like seeing somebody actually speak and hear them speak, and you see me doing hand movements here, you see things like that, and you pick up on their energy, and you have such a different connection with them then. Like it's so much stronger, it's intensified, right? So that's why for me, this is why video is so powerful for me, because again, I mean, I could give you a million examples of things like that, but again, there's been times even where there's people I've been on their email list for years, I thought I really like their emails. And then all of a sudden one day, and I might have never bought from them, but all of a sudden one day I'll see one of their videos and boom, that's it. And that is the thing. And I'm like, I've bought so much of their stuff since then. Whereas I could have continued to read those emails, but seeing that video is so different. So do you know what I mean? Like, this is what I say, like with video, it is like you can literally go from seeing even just one video of somebody, never seeing anything of them before, and then going, oh my God, I really like this person, because you start to visualize what it's like to work with them. You're thinking, oh my God, if I was working with them, you know, this is what it'd be like. Or, you know, again, a lot of the time when we, you know, when we, let's say we buy from somebody, whether it be a course or their one-to-one services or whatever it is, right? You're often buying more the person's energy. Like, you want to be in their energy. Like, yes, you have a need for what they're selling, right? But it's because you want to be around them, right? Because it makes you feel really good, right? It makes you feel like, oh my God, this person makes me feel I can do anything, you know? So I want to be hearing them and seeing them every single day, and not just reading, but like actually picking up on their energy and feeling those feels. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I love the picking up on the energy and feeling it. That's wonderful. Have you seen or noticed a change in the way we relate to each other through the rise of the working through screens and through the rise of Instagram and relating through images and the images of social media?
I do. And again, I know there's a lot of negativity around social media and all that kind of thing, but honestly, I really believe it's like anything, right? We have a choice of what perspective we want to take here. I personally take a very positive perspective. You know, are there idiots on social media? Of course there are, right? Of course there's idiots everywhere. They're not just on social media, let's be honest, right? You know, and it's not social media that's the problem, it's the people that are using it, right? But again, you have the choice to block out all that kind of stuff as well, right? And I personally love being on social media. I'm not on it like 24/7 or anything like that, because again, I use it in the way that I want to use it, and I follow the people that I want to follow, you know. And I personally find it an incredible tool to use, you know, to be able to connect with people all over the world, you know. So even on a personal level, right? So I'm an expat, okay, and I plan on living in even more countries. Like, first and foremost, it's such a great way to be able to stay connected with people, right? So, you know, your own family and friends that are in other countries. So isn't that amazing? Like, it's not like I remember my parents telling me a story of like in the 70s when some of my cousins went, and actually they went from Ireland to Australia. And that's it. Like, you don't see them again for maybe years if you're lucky, right? You know, you might get a letter once a year or something. And now we have this amazing tool where we can literally see each other every day. It's so amazing. So for me, I feel that this has strengthened our relationships. Like, it's brought us actually closer together than actually further apart, you know? And obviously from a business perspective, it's the same. So the three of us are here in three different, not even just in three different countries, like, you know, in three different continents, right? That is absolutely incredible, you know, that we would maybe never have had this opportunity otherwise to all meet like this, you know. And I just find that amazing, you know. And again, it, like, we all have clients all around the world, all around the globe. And to me, as I say, that really strengthens relationships. It opens up opportunities for us. And as I said, and again, the video as well gives you a greater sense of who somebody is, right? Who we are. You can express yourself more as well, you know? So yeah, for me, I see so much positive about this.
Noleen, you mentor your clients on Imperfectly Done. Please share about your thoughts on Imperfectly Done and what does it mean?
Oh, I love this. One of my favorite questions. Yeah, so again, I'm going to say that, you know, perfectionism is something, again, like, I really am my client in all of these things, and I really struggled with it. So, like, for example, with perfectionism, right? A lot of people, again, so I'm going to take even my own example. So I would get an idea for something, right? Let's say I had an idea for a brilliant program, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, you know what it's like when you get an idea and you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited, and I can't wait to put it out there. And then I would sit down and I go, right, I need to write a sales page, and then I need to do this, and I need to do that, and I need to do the other. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, the sales page sometimes would take me like 2 weeks to write a really simple sales page. And by the time I did actually finish it, there was no life left in it, no passion, because I'd let all these fears and doubts come in, and all this perfectionism. You know, I'd be worrying about making a mistake, all this kind of thing. And it was so debilitating. It was awful, right? So I realized, okay, I have to do something about this, because again, there was times, even if I did put something out there, as I said, the passion and energy was all gone out of it, or there were times I didn't put anything out at all, like, because I let everything get to me, as I say, that perfectionism and tweaking with sales pages and every tiny thing. Whereas now I do things imperfectly, right? So I go now, I'll get an idea for something and I will just put it out. Most times I don't even have a sales page. In fact, actually, just even since you're in the Video Confidence and Selling Society, Patti, that didn't have a sales page when I started. I got the idea, right? I was like, oh my God, I have this really good idea. I'm going to see if people like this. And I put it out there and people joined. And then I was like, okay, I better write a sales page now, or I better have at least like a button where people can join, you know? But this is why doing this is so much better, right? It's so much more empowering for me, for my clients, because number one, again, I go back to, well, my mission, right? If I put the idea out there, well, then I can actually help people, right? So by actually putting it out there totally imperfectly, I was able to help people, right? So that you were all able to get the help you needed. And then what you do is you tweak as you go along, right? So the mistake, actually, I was actually talking to somebody about this yesterday. I actually grew a little kind of a graph, right? So here's the mistake that a lot of people make. And I used to do this as well. So we kind of really have three stages, if you like, of growth, right? So we have the foundational stage where you're literally at the very start, you know, whether at your business or an idea you have, okay? And it's just an idea maybe, but, you know, you have a really good idea, okay? And, you know, maybe you're starting off and you're growing your audience or whatever it is, right? And then you move to the growth stage where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of actually, I've got a bit of momentum here and I'm moving along and I've got some things working and that's really great. And you're kind of growing, right? You're growing your audience, you're growing your sales, your impact, etc. And then you have the phase where you're kind of already, you know, you're there, right? You're already pretty decent level of success. And now it's about fine tuning, right? But the problem is most people are at the foundational stage. They try to operate as if they're from that higher level, right? That they're already there. And what's happening is they think that, okay, well, I have to have all the perfect sales pages now, and I have to have the perfect tech and the perfect websites, and I cannot make a mistake. And if I show up and I say, I miss a word or I say or ah or something, oh my God, this is like the end of my business. It's not, right? So you cannot function. If you are at the foundational stage and you're trying to act as if you're at that top stage, right? You're never even going to get off the ground. That's what I used to do. I used to think that I was at that stage. Whereas what we need to do is we actually just need to start. You just need to start. And then you can only get to that last stage if you actually start. Because when you start, then you start to see, oh, okay, well, this is maybe how I can do it better. Or this is what I prefer. Because again, I think people forget that it isn't just about what your client wants. Like you have to like it too. Again, that's a mistake I made. I used to do things that I thought that's what people want, but it wasn't what I wanted. And therefore it wasn't fun and it didn't work out, right? So again, this is why it's very important to just start. If you have an idea, just get it out there. That's all you ever need to transform people's lives, right? People are not going to buy off whether you have a perfect sales page or not. And even at that, what does that mean? What one person thinks looks beautiful, another person thinks is ugly, right? You know, and again, I go back to, we talked about energy. That is always what people are going to buy from. The energy of how you're speaking and how you're speaking about this. And do you believe in it? Are you confident in this offer? That's what all that'll ever matter. And again, the other stuff comes afterwards. You perfect afterwards. You can, you know, fine tune those sales pages or get help with them if you need. But once it's up and running, you know, it's a valid idea. It's working. Do I like it? And you're making a difference, right? Like you can't transform someone's page or life with the fancy sales page. It doesn't matter. You know, they're never going to go for that. So yeah, I hope that kind of explains it there in as short as I could.
Oh, I love that part where you can't transform someone's life with the fancy sales page. It's so funny.
I tried, it didn't work.
Oh, that's beautiful. And Noleen, how does your business of video confidence, personal power, and Imperfectly Done, how do they strengthen relationships, whether it may be personal or business relationships?
Oh yeah, I love this as well. So I think a lot of the time what we forget is, right, we talk about leadership, but ultimately you're the leader of yourself first, right? And you can only lead other people when you lead yourself. And even, and we say leadership, like leadership doesn't have to mean you have this big team or anything like that. Like, you know, you can be a solopreneur, but you're still a leader. You're a leader of you. And you're also the leader of, you know, your audience, right? Because they come to you to learn, right? And, you know, it's the same in your family. You know, you can be the leader of your family, right? But the only way you can do that is when you lead, as I say, from yourself, right? So when you're fully in your personal power, right? Like you're absolutely unstoppable, right? Like you feel like, oh my God, I am oozing with confidence here. Like you fully, almost like 1000% believe in yourself, right? And from the business perspective as well, you fully believe in your offers and the work you're doing and your message and what you're saying and your self-worth, right? And that's, again, like that's the energy that people are going to pick up on, right? That's what's going to emanate out from you. And again, I often say that, like oftentimes, like, a lot of the time, and again, I fell into this trap of worrying about trying to find the perfect wording and what to say and all of this. But actually, oftentimes, it's less about the actual perfect wording and what you're saying, but more about how you're saying it, right? That's what people will pick up on, you know? And how they pick up on that is that belief you have in yourself, that belief that you believe in what you're doing absolutely does work, you know? And I say that's what people pick up on. And again, part of being in your personal power as well is things around like having really strong boundaries. Like that's a really big part of your life and your business, right? And having the confidence as well, right, to fully, you know, communicate those to people, right? Again, you do things like you prioritize your health and your well-being, right? And you know that actually by prioritizing yourself, right? Again, especially as women, I think we've come from this mindset of, oh God, it's really selfish to do all of that stuff. But it's absolutely not. In fact, what I've realized is it's selfish not to do all of this stuff, right? And I have to do that because that's how I show up 100% for people, right? So the clients I want to serve, that's when I can actually hold the space for them fully. I don't want to show up for people and only be half of me and not give them what they really need, right? Because if I haven't given that to myself first, I cannot do that. And again, this is what happens when we are fully in that personal power, you know? And again, this is when you start to, again, tapping into that your mission is more important than your fears. And that's your driver as well, you know, and it doesn't mean you don't have fears, right? Because you will have fears all the time. That's maybe the bad news, right? The fears never go away, but you learn how to deal with them. And when you have that level of confidence and when you are fully in your personal power, that stuff matters less. As I say, then it's more about your mission, you know, and it's like, yeah, okay, I know my fears are there. Thank you. Like you've almost made friends with your fears, you know, but then, as I say, you step into that mission, right? And again, what you're doing here is you're setting that excellent example for everybody, for the people in your audience, for your clients, right? For your friends, for your family, right? Because what you're doing is you're setting that template. You've set that example, and they're looking at you and going, "Gosh." Like they're inspired by you and they're motivated by you, you know, and they're empowered to do all of this for themselves as well. And that's what true leadership is now. Like, again, that old paradigm of, yeah, I'll tell you what to do, but I'm not doing it myself. But you do as I say, not as I do type of thing, right? But that's not how it works. Like this new wave of leadership we have is it's like, okay, I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to show you because this is how I do it as well. And it's that self-respect you have for yourself, you know? And yeah, this is the kind of leadership we need in the world, you know, someone who leads from themselves first and leads from the top. And then that's what's really, you know, helping people. And you might think, well, how does that relate to visibility and video? But it does, because that's how you're going to show up. Do you know what I mean?
Noleen, can you explain the new wave of leadership? Where do you see that, and where can we start to see it happening in the world?
Yeah. So I'd really go back to what I just said there, really. It is about that, you know, people saying, okay, first and foremost, it is okay, not just only okay, but realizing that it's essential that you are, you know, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your own needs, right? Looking after your health and your well-being. For me, that is everything. Like if you don't have your health, you have nothing, right? And there's been too much of this, you know, as I said, again, I come from a corporate background. I know you do as well, Patti, and Angela, you do too. Like, so we've all experienced that, right? And it's all this, you know, work hard, you know, play hard. And it's like, oh my God, the more, like, wearing this almost badge of honor. Aren't I great? I can do 50 things at once and I work 18 hours a day. It's not sustainable, right? And I think we're all starting to realize that. So that's why for me, this new wave of leadership is all about that it's saying, okay, I prioritize myself. I fully respect myself. It's also about things like, and again, this very much relates to visibility. Go back to what I was saying earlier about like not getting too attached to things like likes and comments, right? It's about not needing outside affirmation again. And I don't know if it's more women, but this possibly is for men as well. But it's this thing where, you know, we've always been taught, like, for example, an expression that I always heard in my life, right, was self-praise is no praise. Well, I've realized that is a load of crap. That is the worst thing you could tell a child or anybody, right? I lived by that for years, and it was on because what I was doing then was, it was always, well, I can't ever say anything good about myself. So, but it's okay for other people to say, and then it's okay. Then I must be good if other people are saying it. But if I don't, I dare say that now. Whereas the reverse is true. And again, this is also about leadership. It's about saying, like, as one of my mentors always tells me, she says, Noleen, you are the prize. She says, you have to stand up and you have to do things and do everything from the phrase, I am the prize, right? So it is, you know, and it's not about arrogance. That's not what it is. But it's, again, it's about that self-belief. And it's like, it's really, you know, a privilege for people to work with me. When we come from that, as I said, not from it, nothing to do with arrogance. We can take that out because none of us are arrogant, right? None of us are. But it's about saying, I fully respect myself and the work that I do. And I know that I'm really good at it. And I know I can transform people's lives. And that is real leadership, you know? So again, I mean, I could go on and on here about that. There's so many different variations of it. But hopefully that answers your question, Angela, and gives you kind of an idea of what I'm talking about here.
Yes, thank you.
Noleen, how can our listeners find you or contact you about your products, services, courses, webinars, memberships, and workshops, anything else that you do?
Sure. So I'm mostly on Facebook, actually, but I am on LinkedIn as well. So you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook as Noleen Sliney. So it's NOLEEN SLINEY. It's very easy. I'm pretty much the only Noleen Sliney, I think, on the internet. So you should be able to find me easily enough. So yeah, so they're the places that you can find me the most. Yeah. So come and follow me and reach out. I'd love to hear from you. So send me a DM and a connection request as well. Yeah, it'd be really great to chat with you.
Great. And Noleen, is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners?
Yeah, actually, I just would love to say, you know, for anybody who is, you know, feeling the fears of being on video, or you're scared to show up and share your offerings, like, number one, stop hiding, right? Show up and be visible, okay? The world needs you, right? The world needs your paid offerings, right? It doesn't matter whether you don't have the perfect sales page, or you don't have a website, or you don't have anything. It doesn't matter. You can just have a conversation with somebody and sell your offerings to them. You can just reach out in the DM and help them as well, you know, because as I said, the world really does need this new wave of leaders showing up with your expertise and your wisdom and your knowledge and all these gifts that you can bring to the world. So just show up and do it imperfectly, you know, just do whatever you need to do to get out there. And remember, when you're selling, you're sharing, right? You are actually being so kind to people by showing up and doing that. And there's no better time than right now to get out there and do it. So yeah. And if you need help, of course, reach out to me. I would love to help you to do this as well. But yeah, just do it imperfectly.
Thank you so much for listening. Please share the podcast with others and check out Noleen's website, programs, and services at NoleenSlineyMakeup.com. We will have Noleen's website link in our show notes. And thank you so much, Noleen, for being on our podcast. It was wonderful.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to the two of you today. And actually, if I could just say one thing before we go, you know, because as I said, Patti, you are in my Video Confidence and Selling Society. And I just want to say that last point that I just made, Patti is a perfect example of this. You know, you remember, Patti, when you started working with me first, and you are unrecognizable now from when you started. Like, your confidence is through the roof. Your videos are so amazing, and you are a perfect example of just, you know what, I'm just going to do it, and I just show up, you know, and imperfectly, and you tweak as you're going along. So yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to you as well, because as I say, you are literally living, breathing, walking, talking great example of this. And also how by showing up, you're getting all these opportunities for collaborations and things coming to you as well. So it really just shows you the power of, you know, just starting, you know.
Yes, thank you, Noleen. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you being my mentor, my video mentor.
Absolute joy and a pleasure.
I find that I'm much more confident on video now because of you. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you for listening to Building Better Relationships with Angela and Patti. Send us a message And please like or share the podcast or donate with the Anchor donate button. We really value your feedback.